back, everyone. I hope you all had a good and safe Thanksgiving if you live in the States. We have something very interesting to talk about today, and that is a big earthquake that took place just a few hours ago in the northern Mariana Islands, out in the Pacific Ocean along a volcano chain in the western Pacific. You're seeing a graph on that right now, but as a result of this earthquake, I have data to show you that there was a 65-foot wave that may have made its way out into the Pacific Ocean. And that is the data you're looking at here on the National Data Buoy Center, where 3 tsunami buoys have been triggered because of this earthquake. And this most northern buoy right here is what's showing this data right here of a wave, or the buoy raising 23 meters or 66 feet. Now I'm going to go over all the data with you to show you that this was not a glitch. But first, take a look at this. All right, we are over on the USGS, where they have downgraded this to a 6.9. No surprise there. But again, here is the data for that earthquake. A magnitude 6.9 downgraded from a 7.1 near the Maui Islands region, and that is right on this fault line here that comes out of the eastern side of Japan and stretches down almost into the Papua New Guinea area. A very active fault zone with many volcanoes. And with all the volcanic activity going on all over the world, it is no surprise that the western edge of the Ring of Fire is now beginning to wake up as well. This earthquake was at 16 kilometers in depth, so very shallow for a magnitude this high. Here's a tweet put out about 4 hours ago from RT India talking about a massive 7.1 earthquake hits near mostly uninhabited volcanic Mariana Islands. The US islands are located between Guam and Japan, so luckily not many people in this vicinity. But what's important here is looking at the actual data we have available. We are over here on Volcano Discovery that shows a lot of different detail when it comes to earthquakes aside from the USGS. And if we zoom down to this area, you could see that it wasn't just this 7.1 or 6.9 earthquake. We are quite literally having a significant swarm of very strong earthquakes, everything from a 5.1 into the upper 5s, and then of course we have our 6.9 downgraded from that 7.1. And again, this area sits on a very active fault line, but you don't often see swarms like this. You'll get those random large earthquakes, but this is clearly a swarm going on along a highly volcanic area. Now, we all know the western edge of the Pacific has some very strong volcanoes, even some that are hidden from us that we didn't even know were there, such as the Hunga Tunga volcano that went off a while back, causing a shockwave that wrapped around Earth and was one of the most massive eruptions we have ever seen. Now, I'm not saying that is going to take place here along this chain of volcanoes, but the fact that we have this swarm going on and active tsunami buoys, these are exactly the signs that lead up to an eruption. And if a big enough eruption occurs in this part of the world, that could cause tsunami waves that go both west and all the way across the Pacific Ocean into the States and Western Canada. But now let's take a look at this data. So as I said, 3 tsunami buoys are currently in activation mode. All these buoys are north of the epicenter of the earthquake, which was about right here. But let's take a look at these 2 buoys. This one is technically closest to where the earthquake took place, still a few hundred miles away, but we could see the signature right here that was very much disrupted but didn't really move much past a meter or 2. That is that jagged red line you're seeing right here. It's basically showing the buoy dipping down and then shooting back up. Still an activated buoy caused by this earthquake, but then as we look at the major effect of this earthquake, we can clearly see about a 20-second period where this buoy out of nowhere was raised 23 meters from its normal depth and then back down shortly after. Now, sometimes people say, well, what if the chart glitched or something like that? Well, that's why we have backup data, so take a look at this. If we go ahead and bring up the event detail, this is where it shows us exactly where this buoy is. It tells us the water depth in that area, and if we scroll down, once again, we see the chart of this drastic change in depth, but if we go a little bit further, we actually have a breakdown of the actual depths of where this buoy should be and the different changing tides as the day goes on. As you can see here, the year is over here on the left, the month, the day, the hour, the minute, the second, and then we have the height here. So if we scroll down to exactly when this event took place, you are going to see something pretty incredible here, because not only registered on that graph, but you could see right here just after the earthquake took place, we go from 5,613 meters all the way up to 5,636. That is 23 meters, or equivalent to 66 feet. That means some sort of wave went by this buoy, put it into activation hibernation mode and then rolled on its way. Clearly, this was caused by this earthquake or seismic shift that took place just a few moments beforehand. Now, I'm assuming because there's no tsunami watch or warning that this is not going to affect people or land, but the fact that this took place and we're seeing a wave of this size after a major earthquake is very interesting. Once again, here is where those earthquakes are taking place, this swarm that we're going through, and those buoys are right in this area up here. So whatever happened sent this wave up in this direction, triggering these buoys, and now we're left wondering exactly what's taking place along this chain of islands and volcanoes. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this area today, as well as the possible effects of these solar flares and filament releases you're seeing on your screen right now. We have a very active region of the sun making its way towards Earth facing, with many different sunspots capable of producing these solar flares and extreme solar wind. I will keep you all posted on that as well. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Questions or concerns, please leave down below, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye. Stop right there, my friends. If you have not already, click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Click all and you will get all notifications from this channel. And trust me, you won't be disappointed.